a couple current things that popped up over the last couple days. So let's start with the freshest one. Tim, your thoughts on Rhys Hoskins getting locked up with the Milwaukee Brewers for a 2-year or a one, depending on if he opts out, and what it says about Milwaukee this offseason as, a smaller market ball club that we'd like to give a lot of credit to, because some fans are like, they have to trade Corbin Burnes. You have to get something for him. Does this not tell us what they think about the 2024 season?
Well, I would certainly hope, if I were a Brewer fan, that they would try to hang on to as many people. And I know free agency is looming, but that is still a winnable division. And Rhys Hoskins makes them a better player. They had to add another middle of the order hitter. And that's what he is when he's healthy. Now, we're going to see how well he does, having missed essentially an entire season here. But I thought it was a great move by the Brewers. And if he has a great year, he can easily opt out and go get a whole lot more money somewhere else. So they needed offense. He provides it.
I like it too. And my only concern with the Brewers is this, and it's long term. You don't want to punt on a season when you have a chance. And they certainly, as Tim said, have a chance in that division, probably a good chance. But they're not getting any compensation for Brandon Woodruff, who left because he was non-tendered, financial situation, understood. They're going to get a draft pick for Corbin Burnes if he stays the whole year. If the team remains in contention, as Scott was saying before, they probably will. Willy Adames probably goes for nothing too. And then you look at next year's team, you don't have any of those players, and you don't really have much for them. So if they had gone the other way and traded Corbin Burnes and Willy Adames, maybe even Devin Williams, I would have understood it. It would have hurt, but that might have been the better thing for them long term. In fact, I had a GM within that division tell me, let them keep those guys. That's all perfect. Let them keep them. They'll be good this year, but it's going to hurt them in the long term. We'll see. You never know how these things will play out.
I will say that is very GM-ish for them to say that to you, Ken, because let them keep these guys. It'll help my 5-year plan.
But
I can rebuild.
If the Brewers go backwards, guys, it's not an illegitimate argument. And they may go backwards without Burnes and Woodruff going forward. This is the basis of their team. And Willy Adames, they can replace him more easily, in my opinion. But I thought it was an interesting perspective, put it that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, if Churio works out and becomes an instant hit, this team could be different offensively for the first time in a while. Okay, Ken, I'll go to you first on this one. So Matt Moore signs for a little under $10 million for an Angels bullpen that's getting remodeled. He's actually back. Obviously, he spent some time with the Angels last year, but you wrote about the Angels recently. I think when you wrote it, they hadn't done anything yet, and since then, or not a lot, right? They had the Luis Garcia signing and Simber, but they've essentially signed 4 or 5 relievers this offseason. What do you think of what they're doing by signing, I would say okay relievers and someone in Stevenson with high upside, but it was just for a short period of time? Isn't this what a playoff contender would do?
Yes, and that's how they see themselves still if Trout and Rendon stay healthy. Now, the team is owned by Artie Moreno. Let's start right there. He's not going to pull the plug and send them into a rebuilding mode. He hasn't done that. He doesn't want to do that. If he chose to do that, then he would talk about trading Mike Trout, and that's something that they have completely ruled out. So if you're not going to go in that direction, and you've got Rendon and Trout under contract, and you've got Zach Neto and the kid at first base and Logan O'Hoppe and some other players that you think you can build around, then you go forward. Moniak came on last year. Ward, they have good position players, but they have to keep them on the field. Then it becomes a question of, okay, how do you fill in? They're still looking for a bat as well. I would not be surprised to see them add a starter. Remember, they lost Shohei Ohtani, a pitcher and a hitter, a guy who made $30 million last year. It was going to make a lot more if they re-signed him this year. They have money. It's a question of what exactly they do, and then it becomes a question of, can Trout and Rendon stay on the field? Because if they can, the Angels believe, rightly or wrongly, they believe that they can at least be competitive in the AL West.
Do you agree with that, Tim?
Yeah,
Do you think the Angels are a playoff contender?
Stevenson's numbers were great last year. I don't see them as a playoff team at the moment, but I'm with Junior on this. Look, you can't lose Shohei Ohtani and then say we're not trying to win now. They have to do more, and it all, like Junior said, it comes down to Trout and Rendon, and I just don't know how you can bank on that at this point, given the injuries to both of those guys, but. They're the Angels. They can't just say, all right, we're not trying after losing Ohtani. They have to upgrade the team. I think it's better than people think, but I don't think it's a playoff team at the moment.
I mean, if you add up those signings, I know it's multiple players here, and I guess they really felt like their bullpen was short. Would you rather have those 4 or 5 guys or Blake Snell?
They need starters at some point.
That's what I'm saying. They never have that big ticket.
We're not ruling them out. I don't know that we can rule them out on anybody right now. And
okay.
Traditionally, Artie Moreno has not spent on starting pitching. That's the one thing that they have not done in a big way. I think C.J. Wilson is their biggest free agent signing, Jared Weaver their biggest overall signing from a starting pitching standpoint. But they are looking, and they are going to do more things. I'm convinced of it. It's just a matter of what. And yes, they need, in my view, one more starter, a veteran guy to kind of stabilize things. They've got some interesting younger pitchers. They need more.
Mm-hmm. All right, you want to finish with your last team?
Interesting. Here? I mean, you guys, as you know, you guys used to both work for the Orioles. So explain to me what the Orioles are doing this offseason, because they haven't done anything to make their team better.
Oh, well, first of all,
Craig Kimbrell, but
AJ,
we didn't work for the Orioles.
Well, you know what I mean. You worked the beat for the Baltimore Sun. I get it.
They did not work for the Angelos.
Baltimore Sun.
Yeah,
they have been unusually quiet, I would say. And they want to do some things, but they're not going to spend at the top of the market for Snell and Montgomery. They were never going to be in the Yamamoto thing. Their hope was a trade for a guy like Burns or Dylan Cease, neither of whom has been moved. So they've upgraded the bullpen, but actually it's kind of a lateral move in a way. You lose Felix Bautista and you get Craig Kimbrell to replace him. I don't even know if it's an upgrade, basically. They obviously need one more starter. I would like to see them still do something. I would have liked to have seen them sign Paxton, but he goes to the Dodgers. I don't know how they're going to approach this. They can still be a force at the deadline because their system is so deep. But at the deadline, everybody's going to be trying to trade for starting pitching. So it has been, without question, a disappointing offseason for them because things have not fallen their way.
Yeah, I thought they would have traded for a frontline starting pitcher, and they have not. But Junior's right. They will be in a position to do whatever they want during the season. I think they're a playoff team, no doubt. At the moment, they're only getting better with those position players. They need a veteran starting pitcher to stabilize things, and they haven't come up with him yet.
Are they better than the Yankees right now?
Yeah, I think they're better than the Yankees right now, yes.
I don't know. I don't know because I don't know what the Yankees are. And last year, they say, their view of this is the injuries crushed them. If they're healthier and if their pitching comes together, okay. Now, they have a ton of pitching questions. They have more veteran guys, no question. But they have questions throughout that rotation beyond Cole. So it's really difficult for me to assess right now which is the better team. The Orioles certainly have more upside.
Okay, well, we know Tim's a homer. Junior, you're getting off your homer, so it's nice to hear.
We have a photo.
We also know why Ken is now not a homer for the Orioles. Can we show the photo? I mean, they're very similar, very, very similar.
I actually see it.
Do you?
Yeah, I do.
Quit kissing up to Ken. Do you see it, Tim? Because I'm struggling, man. My eyes aren't as good as they used to be.
No, I'm with you on this, AJ. The 1 foot difference and the 100 pounds of difference, I just can't put those two side by side.
Yeah, 1 foot. It's about a foot. Tim's right. Yeah, I can't make up for that. And
hey,
the 100 pounds. And the athletic ability.
He does play every day, though. Ken plays every day.
Ken does play every day. So that's the one thing you guys have together. Now, real quick, and then we'll let you guys go. Did you guys ever see, we were talking about Joe Mauer getting in the Hall of Fame, Minnesota, the Metrodome, right? Remember they had all those steps to get up? There was like 500 steps to get. Did you guys ever hear the story about Cal? He made it in 5 jumps?
I wrote the story. Hey, AJ, I wrote the story for Sports Illustrated about 25 years ago. Sorry to be angry here. Yes, the steps that go up.
Don't be angry, Tim. He doesn't read.
Sorry.
Was
The
there pictures
steps
in
that go
magazine?
up from the field up to the clubhouse level, it's like one flight of steps, big landing, one flight of steps, big landing, third flight of steps. Ripken invented this game where he would run off the field after infield at 6:30 for a 7:00 game, and he would go up the steps. And of course, he was the record holder at this game, the game that he invented, and he could make it up the top in like 6 strides. It was unbelievable. So one night, Rene Gonzalez, who Junior remembers, he got up there in 6 also. So now Ripken is only the co-champion of this ridiculous game that he invented. So he went back down on the field and said, I can't let somebody tie me. And he got to the top in 5 strides. And then the world was good again because Cal Ripken was the champion of this game that he invented. Ridiculous.
Hey, listen, I
That's
heard
a
about
top
that
step.
my whole time, dude, in Minnesota. Like Cal Ripken. And then there's all these stories about him staying and playing wiffle ball, right? With the kids in the clubhouse and the Metrodome till like all hours of the night. So there's some great, like, legendary Cal Ripken stories in Minnesota.
Yeah,
But the one about him getting, like, I played with like LaTroy Hawkins, some dudes that were like legitimate basketball players, not quite like the Twin Towers, but close, right? And he tried it. He couldn't even come close to 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Well, I remember, I wish we had a photo to show you guys or sort of people watching of what those landings look like. The fact that he did it in 6 is incredible. 5 is ridiculous. I don't even know how many steps there were, but there were quite a few, and he would just leap one after the other. It was impressive, man.
Well, guys, I
Ripken,
appreciate the time.
as you know,
Yeah,
AJ,
go ahead,
Ripken
Tim.
was a great basketball player, and he played against Dave Parker in a pickup game once. This is like huge Dave Parker in his prime. And finally, at the end of the game, Parker looks at Ripken and said, I ain't never been pushed around by a shortstop before. That's how big and strong Cal Ripken was around the rim.
Moral of the story, again, Ken and Cal, perfect comp.
That's right. Perfect. Very equal.
They
Equals
post.
on so many
They
levels.
post. That's all you got to know. Hey, Tim, thanks for joining us for this little, 2-on-2 action. This was fun. Appreciate it.
All right. Well, thanks for having me, fellas. Junior, I'll see you soon, and I'll see you guys soon also.
Yes,
Sounds
thank
good, guys.
you.
Thank you. Thanks, Ken.
Thank you very much. As always,
guys.
of course.